Hi, I'm Shweta. We just got to see about the RAG pipeline and its real-time applications like chat with PDF using RAG pipeline and chat with website using RAG pipeline. Before getting into technical part, we'll just see workflow of the RAG pipeline. One of the most powerful applications enabled by LLM is question and answers and chatbots. These are the applications that can answer the questions about the specific information. And these applications use a technique known as retrieval-augmented information. Typically, this RAG application has two components: indexing, retrieval, and the generation. Basically, there are three components actually: indexing, retrieval, and the generation. Let's see, this is an just a brief example of workflow of the RAG pipeline. We just get to see about this indexing and the generation retrieval documents. For better understanding, we'll just see the workflow architecture. Indexing, the step one of the indexing is loading. First, we need to load our data. This is done with document loaders. User need to load their data. Text splitters break large documents into smaller chunks. After loading the data splits into chunks of text. This is useful for both indexing data and passing into your model. As large chunks are harder to search over, as all we know that, and then we need to store the data, so we need somewhere to store and index our splits so that they can be searched over later. This is often done using a vector store and embeddings models. And then embedding models, there are different models like word to vector and then BERT sentence, but in most of the models they use a semantic analysis for extracting the exact meaning of the sentence. So uh, and also we can use many embed algorithms. Now next is that retrieval and the generation operations or components. This retrieve and generation components are like uh, retrieval operation is used to retrieve the information from the user documentation, which means that relevant splits are retrieved from the storage using a retriever, and then generate coming to generator model. LLM produces an answer using a prompt that includes both the questions with the retrieval data. Usually, this LLM takes the input query and the chunks of the text as input, and then gives the accurate result. This is the retrieval and the generation. Overall, indexing, retrieval, and the generation are the three components which flow through the rack pipeline. And just see the example briefly. Now user takes the input query, user gives the input query to the machine and then performs indexing, and then retrieval, it splits the retrieval data to chunks of the text, and then this LLM takes the user input and the chunks of the data as input and produces an accurate result. We just get into the technical part of. So yeah, getting into technical part, there will be many libraries for installation like Streamlit, PyPDF2, LangChain, and all. We'll see, and then we'll have this. This is the overall picture, and this is a Google API key we have used for embeddings LLM, and this is the function. This is the code, the Streamlit application that allows users to upload PDF files and then query the text with those files using a conversational AI model. And after this, loading environment variables, the code then loads environment variable from a .env file using load.env function, and then this loads a Google API key from the environment variables and configures the GenAI library to use this key. And this is the function to split the text chunks, as we discussed before in the architecture. First, it loads the data and splits the data into chunks, and the generate and saves it chunks which are retrieved, and then load the conversational chain. This is and then function to check if the text contains tablet data. So there is a requirement to retrieve the information of tablet data. So hence we used this, and then function to parse table data into a pandas data frame. So the data which is in the text format, it retrieves as text format, and then the information that is represented in the table format. For table formats, we have written the code above, and then function to handler queries. This is a user input function. A user can ask the questions which they want to ask, and this is a FAI index. It is used to store the information which we have asked before, and then And then user input for questions, same, asking a question. So we write st.text input, ask a question from the PDF files, and this is the user function. And then this is like getting the after browsing the PDF, we need to get the submit and process button. After hitting the submit and process button, we get some process are successful. Now browsing the information, the PDF I saved with info.pdf, and after hitting submit and process, as I said, it will appear like a PDF or process successfully. We have written this in the code. And the first requirement we need to we need is tabular in page 6, and information in page 2. So this is about the first chart with PDF. And then coming to the next chart with website link. So we are getting into the second code, chart with website using rack pipeline. First, we need to import the libraries and then define the embedding models. Set to sentence transform model for generating the models. LLM model is set to a T5 based language, and then crawl the scrap website content. Takes the list of websites as an input, sends the HTTPS request, and parse the HTML response using Beautiful Soup, as all we know that. And then converting the text. After that, loading the answering chain, question answer chain takes a query as input and then loads the question answering chain using the language model, and then passes the query to chain and gets a response. At last, define the chart function. Defining the chart function is also same as like taking as a query as an input, and also passes the query. And in last function, in the main function, Streamlit app with a title. And then let's run this project. Streamlit run filename.py. I will get output like so. Enter the URL and hit the process URL button. You'll get website data scrapped successfully, and then here enter your query. Uh, I am entering my query as get the textual doc data from this website, and then now hit the run query button, and this is your answer. Thank you.